Yosha, welcome to the Insurer TV. It's great to be having this conversation with you here in Bermuda.
Great, thank you so much for inviting me.
Yosha, to dive straight in, what's your view of the current cyber landscape and the market conditions? And are there any kind of trends of note that you feel is important to raise at this point?
Yeah, it's been a very, very turbulent couple of years. We definitely saw the emergence of ransomware in 2018 and 19, which caused a huge shift in the market. And I feel like 2020 we were dealing with COVID on a personal level. Everyone was starting to work from home. Then you saw an increase in the use of technology, which started to raise a lot of questions around cyber. That compiled with the ransomware that we had had prior years resulted in a very, very strong shift quickly in 2021. So now we're a year into that. We had the Ukraine-Russia war also come up. And so nothing ever gets boring in cyber.
No.
Cyber never sleeps is what we say. And we're going to continue to see market shifts in the next couple of years as some of these more dynamic changes continue.
Yosha, you mentioned there the Russia-Ukraine conflict, which obviously is devastatingly still ongoing. There was some expectation that we would see an uptick in state-backed cyber attacks. Did that materialize at all?
It didn't. It actually caused a lot of disruption in the hacking community, and that's really what we saw. My concern with that is that they are regrouping, and despite the conflicts that we're incurring within those organizations and those ransomware groups, they are now starting to regroup and look at that. So I don't want to look at the downturn that we did see as a result of this as a long-term impact. It's going to just be one of the blips on the radar that occurred out of this particular conflict.
Okay, thank you. I mean, of course, with all this turbulence that you've been referring to, it does present some growth opportunities for the cyber market, but modelling will be a big part of that. How is cyber modelling improving and certainly helping you kind of select risk better and make sure that you've got sustainable business moving forward?
Yeah, we've been modeling cyber risk for a long time, but the shift that we did see, especially in 2021, was just a demand for more accurate data and more granular data to model. And that's the shift that we continue to see in this modeling, is how can we start to make these models more impactful? How can we start to make them more useful? How do we start to use them in a way that we can shape portfolios, but then also on the reinsurance side, which I think is really important when we start to open up capacity, start to have conversations with the ILS markets when we can prove some of these data points, start to say that we're able to underwrite around some of these threats and actually show this as a profitable market for the long term.
Yeah, I mean, as if cyber wasn't scary enough. I mean, the systemic nature of it is obviously adding another layer of scariness on top of that as well. But because cyber's systemic nature is becoming more apparent, how is it affecting both sort of the US and the UK markets? And are there different sort of geographical trends to sort of factor in as well?
Yeah, we've seen huge differences in geographical trends in cyber in the last couple of years. That is somewhat levelizing, where we're starting to see this as a global product and a global market. That being said, there's still a lot of nuances. I think one of the big ones is the regulatory environment, is particularly in the US. When GDPR came out in 2018, we thought we were going to see a huge impact on European and UK at that time privacy matters. Yeah. And we didn't really see the impact that we thought we were going to. There's still a lot of activity there, and it's definitely being noted, and there's certain events that have happened that hit the headlines as a result. But what we're seeing in the US is this 50-state approach to regulation, which is very, very complex. Multinational organizations that have any sort of presence in the US can be hit by these events. And it's really a patchwork of regulatory matters that these people have to take into account across the board when it comes to privacy. And we are seeing, as a market, an increase in the privacy regulation activity.
Yeah, okay, some things to sort of like watch out for. One of the things that we've been covering recently is Lloyd's war exclusion on cyber policies. What is your opinion on this, and how is the market / sort of Mosaic responding to it?
Yeah, I think it's the intent behind it is really, really strong and very customer forward. Despite some of the things you see in the headline, it was really this intent of telling customers what is covered, when it's covered, and how it's covered. And that was rolled out with that intent. So while it does actually control the accumulation risk being presented, it also has a lot more clarity to customers. This policy covers to this extent, and this is where it would not be covered, and this is the type of event that we're looking to not provide solutions for in the insurance industry. There may need to be in the future partnership that actually provides better solutions that meet these large scale events. Where I think it's a little overly complex and not wrong or inaccurate by any means, but this is where a lot of people get confused about it, is it's trying to incorporate lots of different things into one exclusion. And so it really has three major elements that we're looking at. Is it state sponsored? Is this a large scale event with a detrimental impact to a sovereign nation by another sovereign nation? Or is this attached to war? And so it's really those three things lumped into one, where we're trying to say, these are what we're really concerned about as a market, and for the long-term sustainability, we need to find a solution for this.
Yeah, okay. And you mentioned, the improved clarity, and obviously the usefulness of, potential public-private partnerships moving forward. Does the improved clarity, maybe make those PPP solutions like more readily available, or certainly kind of easier to talk about?
Yeah, I really think it does. We, as part of ABIR, we recently put out a paper to the U.S. government around what we would expect out of a public-private partnership from a cyber perspective. And it really was, we want to help fuel the growth in this market. These are some of the solutions we're looking for, and these are some of the partnership things we're looking for. Whether that ends up being a state-backed fund solution, whether they rewrite TRIA as a result to be a solution to this as well. One of the things we were also asking for is we would like some help in the attribution side and have actual government body that's established, and that would need to be across the globe, of course. It wouldn't just be US centric, that could actually help us with some of these attributions and be a little bit quicker to work with the clients on what's actually happening behind the scenes. So that really adds that clarity as well.
Okay, thank you. And finally, Yosha, how can the cyber market remain competitive but also sustainable, which of course is most important?
Yeah. It's going to be around for a long time. We're really anticipating to see continued growth in the cyber market. At Mosaic, we are really continuing to push out more solutions that we see very client friendly. One of the big complaints we hear about clients recently is that the process of just obtaining insurance can be quite onerous. And so we're currently doing a partnership with a company called Safe Security to try to really eliminate those unnecessary questions, go into the questions that are actually going to be implemented as part of their cyber risk plan, and what's the most important thing, and really narrow in on those, and then also provide better solutions for them on the insurance side. So that continued growth is going to be there, not just from us, but from the market in general. And I think that as we continue to look at this as more of a partnership, this coverage as more of a partnership with clients in the future, and really service-led with a insurance backstop behind it, we're going to continue to fuel growth as well.
Yeah, okay. That growth in the market sounds exciting, and I look forward to kind of following how Mosaic kind of moves into that. It's been great catching up with you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it.